Now I'm excited to introduce our second keynote speaker of the day. We just heard from this investor perspective. We're going to hop on over to the founder perspective and hear from an L1 blockchain. So this topic is really interesting. It's going to talk about the comparison of interoperability in crypto and how it's similar to navigating an amusement park experience. So I'm thrilled to introduce Brian Gallagher, who is the founder of the Partisia Blockchain Foundation.
First conference I've ever been to where we started early. So well done to the organizers. Today we're talking interoperability in crypto, navigating the amusement park experience. So you walk into Disney World and it's like this amazing, vivid amusement park, but in order to use all the attractions, the first thing they make you do is buy Disney dollars. So while this benefits Disney World by trapping your money in their system, obviously doesn't really benefit you much. And if you look at the current landscape in the layer 1 blockchain ecosystem, it's very similar. So if you want to go play around in the amusement park they call Ethereum, you first have to buy ETH. So whether it's you want to trade tokens in a DeFi marketplace, swap some NFTs, you're buying ETH, and then if you want to leave the amusement park and go over to Cardano, you got to do another swap, use ADA. So this sort of is a constrictive process that might be hindering a bit of innovation in the space. And so it kind of creates this zero-sum game. So the question is this a winner-take-all industry where everyone's competing to force you into your own network, or is there opportunities for collaboration? So we'll talk a bit about how we view that at Partisia Blockchain. Diving a bit deeper, the current interoperability solutions that exist out there. We have side chains, centralized exchanges, oracles, routers, and swaps. But, basically all of these are requiring third-party intermediaries who are charging fees. And if you currently look across the blockchain ecosystem, anywhere you look and want to use one of these services, you're forced to buy the network currency that's hosting them. So there's no frictionless way to sort of just start using something. It always starts with you having to change your currency to pay the fees. So throughout history, there's always been this sort of attempt to dominate the ecosystem and have everybody forced into your platform, VHS versus beta, Apple, Microsoft, Google, the usual suspects. But that's kind of what's happening in the blockchain ecosystem now, is it's sort of this race of who can get everyone inside their ecosystem and keep them sort of trapped there. But if you look at who was the most successful in the past, Apple being the #1 company in the world, what did they do that sort of made them the most used platform? The App Store. So they allowed any developer to start deploying to the App Store. So in 2015, I was at Y Combinator for my first company. And John Doerr, the famous Kleiner Perkins venture capitalist, was giving a speech about Apple. And he was telling us how when he was on the board, he used to tell Steve Jobs that he should consider allowing third-party developers to deploy their apps in the App Store. And Steve Jobs refused. He said, I will not allow third parties to pollute my perfect device, right? The only applications on an iPhone are going to be ones that Apple builds. And so John Doerr claims that for 6 months, then a year, he constantly told Steve Jobs to open the App Store up. Then there was an Apple developer conference, and Steve Jobs took the stage, and he announced this new brilliant idea he came up with to allow anyone to deploy an app to the App Store. So this is the way John Doerr told the story. I have no clue if it's actually true, but he takes complete credit for the App Store. But what did they do well? They didn't force you to buy Apple Coin to pay inside apps, right? You can make in-app purchases with any currency using your other cards, Visa, MasterCard, etc. And so with Partisia Blockchain, that's the approach we take. We allow any developer to leverage our technology but pay gas fees and the existing tokens on the other networks. So if you have a DAO on Ethereum and you want to place a private vote using some of our private smart contracts, you can pay in ETH. You know, same goes for BNB, Polygon, ADA, or IoTeX, right? The MPC token itself isn't used for fees on our network. It's actually where you collect the fees. So you can run the nodes, stake the MPC token as collateral, and you receive the liquid tokens from the other chains processing the transactions. So we sort of see ourselves as like the Visa or MasterCard network of blockchains, where the fees are flowing through our chain from all other currencies, and the MPC token holders are collecting the fees in all the different currencies, just like Visa or MasterCard would collect euros, US dollars, South African rand, etc. In addition, you know, bring your own coin allows our main value propositions to be accessible to other chains. So what do? We have private smart contracts using MPC. Our bridge, we consider the most secure in the industry because it's also using sort of a secret key sharing MPC scheme to secure the nodes. But you don't need to migrate your whole dApp over to our network in order to leverage the tech. So our bridge allows you to run a private voting contract, for example, and relay finalization back to your dApp on ETH, IoTeX, or any of the other chains that are bridged. So this is all about like collaboration rather than competition. That's the way we see it. So we're trying to create a network where everyone can use each other's technology without having to constantly, you know, swap currencies to enter and leave other networks. So here's the most recent example. You know, IoTeX is able to connect their chain to ours so that they can benefit with private smart contracts and essentially leverage us as like a layer 2 for privacy. For their existing network users. This really unlocks an insane amount of like high impact use cases. So we're kind of going beyond the threshold of, you know, DeFi marketplaces, NFTs, and we're starting to unlock things like private voting, you know, private data analytics, confidential internet search. And you know, these are just some of the names now who are building. So the International Red Cross, very famous NGO, you know, they're using our chain to have private smart contracts delivering stable coins to their beneficiaries. So instead of coming with cash into crisis zones, they're coming with QR codes, and they're allowing the users to, you know, move the money around in the local economy, but they're protecting their privacy because it's in a private smart contract that they control. You know, privatize NFT property records. So we just announced Del Norte. It's a partnership between 3 countries in Central and South America who are going to start onboarding all of the property records and actually facilitating the transfer of ownership on a chain, but leveraging our privacy-preserving tech so that these records can be on-chain and tamper-proof, but not necessarily available for everyone to see unless, you know, access is permissioned. So, you know, if you want to learn more, just email us at build@partisiablockchain.com. You know, the whole goal here is collaboration over competition. So I would love to connect. I'll be around at the event all day. Thanks.